Howdy do! So for today's weekly Jinx video, for those who don't know, every Wednesday we do a Jinx video on this channel about anything to do with Jinx, and you decide that topic in the comment section down below. As well as this video acts as a weekly discussion thread video on the Jinx subreddit, LeagueOfJinx. Feel free to check that out. And it's been a while, so I wanted to actually talk about Keystones on Jinx specifically, because we got a requested topic about asking about Conqueror on Jinx, specifically into tanks and dealing with tanks, because obviously you've been in combat with a tank long enough to actually proc it. Is it kind of worth it though against tanks? Would it be better to take something else? Of course, because Conqueror is in the precision tree, you still be able to take a lot of precision, runes anyways, etc, etc. I wanted to kind of expand that into a discussion about Keystones period, because with the lethal tempo change this patch, as well as impress the attack, and of course Fleet Footwork still existing, what is kind of like the tier list of runes on Jinx? What do you think is actually good on Jinx as a rune right now? And like I said, it's been a minute since the sub has kind of talked about this in general. There has been a few posts here and there that I've seen pop up, so I thought it'd be a good idea to just make this all into one kind of massive video about all of that. So I'll start briefly about the requested question, to be fair to that person asking the question, about Conqueror on Jinx, in which personally I don't have a lot of experience on it, but they're asking about it against tanks specifically, and kind of like I already mentioned, I think it has to do with the fact that against squishier targets, you probably aren't really proccing it all that well, especially late game when you have crit. You're probably just popping squishy targets at the moment. But against tanks that might last longer than, 4 or 5 seconds, would Conqueror and its true damage and the extra damage you would be doing be worth it against either tanks in general or even maybe specific tanks? Like maybe tanks with regenerative properties, like say a Mundo or a Maokai or something like that. And my answer, again, as someone who hasn't really done it, I can't give the best answer. All I can do is ask you, if you're watching this video and you have experimented with this, give your answer, and hopefully your answer suffices to what they're hopefully looking for. But I think there could be an argument there that if you're playing against enough tanks or a lot of tanks, that rune and its true damage, especially depending on the type of tank and what they do, like a Mundo or something, you might want that true damage to kind of break through their healing and stuff, but obviously without grievous wounds, that's not really going to matter all that much. So unless you're also building, say, Mortal Reminder, I don't know if it's going to be worth taking Conqueror just over some of the other runes. Not saying that's completely garbage, but I will say I don't really know a lot of people taking Conqueror on Jinx, because it's more kind of a bruiser, 80 bruiser, rune anyway. But I can kind of see where the person's maybe coming from when asking the question, where it's like, well, then do you build, say, a Last Whisper as well as a Blade of the Ruined King, and as such, do you also take the Conqueror? I can kind of get that line of thinking, I guess is what I'm saying. But on top of that, when it comes to things like Fleet Footwork, Lethal Tempo when it got its changes, and as well as Press the Attack, what do we feel about those Keystones on Jinx as well? I'm kind of still on the whole Fleet Footwork. I've kind of been on that ever since Lethal Tempo kind of disappointed me way back in November. And I know that's not good. I should have experimented more with some other stuff, so I can't give you the most reliable information right now. But what I will say is Fleet Footwork, depending on what you want out of it, still gives you like the movement speed and all that stuff. If you really want it for the healing of the door and shield meta and all that, that's definitely taking a hit. Press the Attack in a team fight where you have a lot of time to DPS might be useful for you to exposing an enemy, especially if you're in minigun form, because you can actually expose them pretty fast, and as such your support, say in lane, will be able to damage them pretty well as well. Which of course leaves Lethal Tempo, which has kind of been a hit or miss for some people. Some people will swear that Lethal Tempo actually has been good for a minute and is definitely good now with changes. Some people will say Lethal Tempo just by design will never really kind of be good unless like maybe the attack speed is front loaded or something like that. So this is going to be kind of a shorter video. This is really kind of based on your opinion specifically, more so than the knowledge I can give you, right? All I can really kind of go over in this video is explaining verbatim what the runes do, and at this point we kind of all know what the runes do, and explain what Jinx does. Again, we're all Jinx mains here, we know what she does. So it's kind of your own opinion and your own experiences, I should say, to determine what rune do you think is best, kind of what tier list you would put together, maybe kind of help this person out with their question as well, if you don't think it's too far-fetched. And that's all for this video. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did, I don't know which video will be next, because I think I have a lot of kinks. So until this time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching.